and waste or chemicals. Be prepared to move to higher ground if necessary. A severe storm watch is in effect for the comic. Chesapeake, City of Brooklyn, Franklin, Gloucester, Hampton, Isleworth, James City, Matthews, Middlesex, Newport News, Norfolk, Northampton, VA, Port.
Storm is dropping hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger. We have that. In fact, briefly, this line did have indications of 1.5 inches in diameter, the size of ping pong balls, if a storm is producing 1 or more tornadoes. We've had that as well. Interestingly, even though it sounds like it ended the world over your house, when you get the lightning, you hear the thunder, that's not a consideration. I mean, the storm could be producing massive amounts of lightning, but it has to either have the winds, the hail, the tornado, or the history of the tornadoes for the National Weather Service to issue that severe thunderstorm warning. Of course, again, we've had all of these things, and then on top of that, we've got the threat for some flooding as well, too. And so, yeah, we've got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning as well. We're hearing the warning box, or the warning siren right now. That one, as we look into Virginia Beach, we have another severe thunderstorm warning impacting a little bit farther south into Virginia Beach right now. And so it's affecting portions of Chesapeake right now. So this is the severe thunderstorm warning from the storm that's moving through Suffolk, moving into Chesapeake. And then this is the severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. Basically, it's a little bit farther south into Virginia Beach right now. And so almost all of Virginia Beach under that severe thunderstorm warning from the Bayfront all the way down south of the courthouse. As we get down a little bit farther to a little bit north of the North Carolina state line. So it cuts off before it gets to the North Carolina state line, but it is I would say probably 95% of the population of Virginia Beach right now is under that severe thunderstorm warning as that line producing those winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour makes its way into the resort city. So right now we are under the gun here in Norfolk.
That's override what
Norfolk, Norfolk, Northampton, VA, Portsmouth, Southampton, Suffolk, Surrey, Sussex, Jacob Beach, Williamsburg, New York until 9 midnight. A watch means conditions are favorable for severe weather to develop. Strong winds will blow down trees or power lines. Be prepared to take.
I wish they just let the
Little Creek, as we get down here toward, that's Highway 13 here, so this is the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. So the Northampton Boulevard here, the approach to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. We've got that hail that's falling right there. As we look back over, likely around the Leicester Bridge area, we've got that hail falling, and we could see 1 inch to 1.5 inches hail in diameter from this storm as it makes its way to the east and a little bit to the south as well. So a lot of hail falling with this, a lot of rain falling with this. We do have that flash flood warning in effect for the south side and the lower peninsula. The one on the south side is in effect until 8:30, so I haven't had a chance to check the one on the peninsula, but it likely is in effect until 8:30 or 9 o'clock tonight. So this is going to be around for a while because all that rain is falling. Eventually it's going to be making its way through the storm drains and likely overflowing banks. And so that's why these flood warnings last a lot longer than the actual storms themselves, because the flooding sticks around a lot longer. And as we head deeper into Friday evening, the sun going down, it gets darker, it's harder to see just how deep the water is. And so you hear me say all the time, just turn around, don't drown, turn around, find another route. Even if you have to hang out for a little while in a dry spot until the water goes down, do that rather than drive across that flood water. Even if you get to the other side safely, your car may not, or you think your car has, but a lot of times with this flood water, we also get water that's got a brackish, has some salt in it, and that can do some serious damage to a vehicle and all the electronics we have in cars now as well, too. So that's another reason not to do it. Even if you think you succeeded and you're like, Patrick was wrong, I made it across the flood water, your car may not, and your mechanic will thank you for doing that, but it's probably not, or it's definitely not a good idea.
No, and Patrick, that's such a good point. We do have teams that are kind of going out to see and survey some of this flooding, and one of them just sent us a message that they had to pull over because it's so bad out there, and they're not able to get to because they're trying to follow that direction that you're giving them to turn around, not to drown, to make sure that they're being careful out on the roads. And there's so much to be careful out on the roads right now. This hail, that we're seeing in Virginia Beach. I know that a lot of people, as you mentioned, are still trying to get home, and if you work on one side of Hampton Roads and you're trying to get to the other and traffic is this bad, I mean, it's gonna be really bad.
Our producer are telling me we have a pretty good traffic camera to show, a pretty bad traffic camera. If you're on 264 route, this is around London Bridge Road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can see that camera shaking.
And that's what we've seen, Patrick, just as you have said, we've been looking at traffic cameras along the path of this system, and this is what we see. We see the heavy winds, we see the slick roads, we have seen the hail. It is dangerous out there, so as you have said, even though there is not a tornado warning right now, the severe thunderstorm warning, serious enough that you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Patrick, you mentioned earlier that we saw winds in excess of 80 miles per hour at the JRB. The systems that we're looking at now, any indication of how high the winds are so far?
Well, we know the winds are at least 60 miles per hour, but we're thinking even a bit higher than that. Jessica, I took off the radar image from this because I just wanted to show the warnings here, because it's very difficult to see everything when we have all of those things overlaid with each other. But you can see the green boxes here, which is most of the Lower Peninsula, really just south of James City County. That's the flash flood warning that we have in effect. And then for the south side of Hampton Roads, the green box there also is that flash flood warning in effect. And we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that include Suffolk, Chesapeake, likely parts of Portsmouth as well. And then the second severe thunderstorm warning, which is basically Virginia Beach with a little bit of Chesapeake and Norfolk mixed in right there. So we've got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now. Those are more short term. And then we have the longer term ones, the flash flood warnings, and we're going to be dealing with those so later on in this evening, until that water can make its way out the storm drains and out into our rivers here. And so we've got lots of reports of flooding. We've got lots of reports of damaging winds. We have lots of reports of some large hail. That's all those boxes that we're seeing right there. As a matter of fact, there may be a couple of new ones here that I want to take a look at here as we look into Newport News. We see one of those there. Let me query this and see what is going on with that one. This one is a tree down in the Hilton Village area. We've also, just very close to there, heard reports of the flooding and flooded roads around Hilton Village as well. And we make our way down closer to the Mondo de Merrimack and the James River Bridge, checking out that one at the James River Bridge. There you go. That was at 5 o'clock, so about 49 minutes ago. That's when that tornado warning storm was moving through, and 83 mile per hour wind recorded there.
Oh my gosh. And then that 72 kilometer per hour, what is the KT for the gust? Is that how fast it was gusting, that the winds on top of the bridge right there?
Yeah, 83 miles per hour was our winds with that. This was 3 miles east-northeast of Carrollton at the James River Bridge. The VDOT station on the James River Bridge reported that. Yeah, the 72 knots there is translate that to 83 mile per hour winds. Imagine trying to drive across, and you know, once you go, there's like really no place to, you can't turn around,
You're there, and you're just there.
That's everybody's nightmare, I think. You wake up screaming for nightmares like that.
Yes, and Patrick, as we're talking about what we saw in Carrollton, we have some images to show. Oh my goodness. This is just in from the News 3 newsroom of the tornado clouds forming. This is
for Carrollton.
my goodness, Patrick, look at that.
Yeah, that was the confirmed tornado that we had. Now, at that point, we're not sure when the tornado dissipated or went back up into the clouds. We know that there was a tornado on the ground between Smithfield and Carrollton. Maybe not exactly, but in that area.
Yeah,
and at some point from Carrollton toward northern Suffolk, we think that the storm dissipated. The tornado likely went back up into the clouds. But man, isn't that crazy? It's like seeing what we're seeing on the radar and then the pictures of it.
It's very scary, and just to see, as you mentioned, that it came down and then it went right back up into the clouds, and this can happen anywhere as long as those conditions are right. And so I think that people really need to be careful if you're outside still, because look at how quickly they touched down and went right back up, and we're still feeling the effects of it.
Yeah, I say it all the time. What a storm has done in the past is often an indication of what it's going to do in the future. And so while we have
That's what I
severe
did, and then went
thunderstorm
back up and
warnings in
went right
effect
over it.
right now, you see the yellow boxes there on your screen. Be careful, because at any point that these storms could produce a tornado, because they have in the past and the conditions are right for that. So just showing you on the screen, kind of translating what some of these boxes mean. Earlier, if we want to come back out to me on camera here, earlier we had this the fuchsia box there you see on the top right there. That was the confirmed tornado that touched down around Smithfield and Carrollton. Then we had the red box there, tornado warning. So it started off as the red box, and then the National Weather Service got confirmation that it was an observed tornado, and then it got upgraded to this confirmed tornado. So we've had the fuchsia box, we've had the red box. The yellow box, we've got plenty of those. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings when you have storms producing large hail, possibly damaging winds, or both of those. That's when you see those. And flood warnings, and guess what? We've got all of them. So we're going 4 for 4 with all of the warnings that you see on the screen right there, with crazy line of storms that is making its way across Hampton Roads. Folks in eastern North Carolina, you know, we're not talking about you, and that's a good thing. You know, a lot of times when we do these and we go back later and read comments on social media, it's like, what about X? What about me here? What about me here? We don't say your name. That is a very good thing right about now. We have not really mentioned anybody across eastern North Carolina, because the storms have been isolated to Hampton Roads, because the severe thunderstorm warning that is still in effect until 9 o'clock tonight only includes our communities in Hampton Roads. None of our communities in eastern North Carolina are included in that, and so consider yourself very lucky.
Absolutely very lucky, because we're actually hearing some of the storm right over our own studio right now.
It's raining in here, in the studio right now, and so I say that in jest, but that is, this is serious, and we do need to take this seriously. You can see what the first warning storm team has been tracking over the length of this. And Patrick, I want to talk about this, because let's say someone in this path looks outside and it looks fine right now, and they say, I don't need to find my tornado safe area. It looks fine. What are they talking about? That does not mean that it's not headed your way.
Yeah, I want you to remember those pictures that we just showed you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we can bring those up again.
Yeah, folks, yeah, there you go. That's what folks in Isle of Wight County were seeing not that long ago, a tornado, a confirmed tornado that was on the ground. Meteorologist Miles Henderson is joining me now with our extended weather coverage here.
That sure messed up.
30
Light rainfall
p.m.
for the peninsula.
These
with a
storms
flash
could
warning
produce
that
areas of
continues for
storm,
another
damaging winds that cut down trees and cause power outages. Take shelter indoors and away from windows.
Probably that
Flood warning is in effect
artificial
for
intelligence computers taking over.
Hampton, Newport News, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, and York comes at 8:30 p.m. Never drive through flood waters. The water may be deeper than it looks. Stay out of the
Well, I heard the
water.
weatherman said, who wants to take their insurance right
Hey,
now?
I'm not seeing much, but as soon as you get up towards 264, that's where you're going to have the issues with that ponding on the road, the flash flooding, and things like that.
I know you didn't take the Jordan Bridge
No.
coming in, but it was very close to where you were. And take a look at this report here at the South Norfolk Jordan Bridge. 54 miles per hour gusts. You know what? On a calm day when there is absolutely no wind, that bridge scares me.
Yes, it scares a lot of people.
Yeah, and so 54 mile per hour wind gusts reported at the Jordan Bridge. All right, as we head a little bit farther north, I'm kind of querying some of these, what we call local storm reports, because they've been coming in very quickly here of all kinds of reports that are coming in about what we've been dealing with this storm. And I want to look at some of these as we get into Virginia Beach here. So an inch hail reported, 1 inch in diameter hail reported in Kenville. That's the size of a quarter. I mean, we're talking about change here, a quarter. So imagine a ball of ice the size of a quarter that's falling from the skies.
Yeah, Patrick, you mentioned those flash flood warnings earlier. We do have two, one on the south side, one on the peninsula. Both go till 8:30 to give you a little time frame on there with those flash flood warnings. And so a lot of people, when they see a radar like this, they go, well, it's just rain. Well, the problem is, it's a lot of rain in a short amount of time, and that's where the storm drains can't keep up, the roadways can't keep up. So sure, it may be just rain, quote unquote, but it is too much rain.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to ask our producers if they can find that traffic camera in Newport News again. It was a pretty stark reminder of why you don't want to drive across a flooded road. Basically, it was an underpass in Newport News and flooded very quickly. And what a mess for folks. It looked like there was at least one car, don't you remember, Pari, it was at least one car that was in that flood water there in Newport.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
here it is. You can see that car right there in the middle, turning around, because they don't want to go through that. And you really have to listen to Patrick and Miles in this case, because the damage that it could do to your vehicle, just trying to drive through it, you don't know if you're going to drive through it, get stuck. You can see right there that big pickup truck, that black one right there.
Yeah,
He's turning around because he does not want to even attempt to go through that. It's a pretty big car, so you have to recognize when it's safer to turn around versus trying to get through something that, as you mentioned, murky water, it's dark, we don't know what's in it.
Look,
You
it's so
can see that
flooded, they're making
hail
a
that was
U-turn,
coming down
saying,
earlier.
no, I ain't going
Pretty
through
big
that.
car and a pretty expensive car, I'm sure, so probably a wise move turning around there. The water there has gone down quite a bit from what we were showing earlier, and so, Miles, that happens. We get the floodwaters, but they move away very quickly, and so that's why when you come to that flooded road and you don't know another route around it, you just
Quarter
get to a high
inch
spot
size
and wait a little while.
hill
Yeah, that's
estimated to
always a
be
smart idea.
important.
These storms, in most cases, move in, move out pretty quickly, at least enough where you get a little bit of a break there. So that's just an example of where the roads, if they're covered with water,
80
do not try to
miles an
pass
hour
it.
and
Something else to remember,
55
a lot of
miles an
times,
hour.
when you get to some of our more rural areas, the road may not be there anymore. That's something we think about with moving
Climate
water. When you
mania,
have those water
33
levels
minutes.
coming up, you may think, oh, sure, it's just a little bit of
People
water on the road,
affected.
but you're
4,
not
3,
100% sure that road is still there. Obviously, you get that water in the way, it
575.
can cause some issues with erosion and
It had a
flooding
different
and
number.
deteriorating the road quality and things like that. So if this is the case, it is not safe to assume that things are still so underneath that road.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point as well.
61 miles
While
an hour.
Miles has been talking about what we call querying some of these local storm reports, giving us information about just how strong the winds are. This one around Naval Station Norfolk, 61 mile per hour wind reported there. So 53 knots translates to around 61 miles per hour. So
We hear
very
thunder.
strong
I
winds.
mean, I
That's
saw
at Naval Station
a little bit of
Norfolk,
lightning,
so
but
you
not
imagine
strong.
We've got those kind of winds along 564 leaving the base, very close to that, 64 around Willoughby and the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. Folks driving on winds that high as well too. Miles is going to check out, kind of give us a rundown of some of the times for these and when things are going to really start to quiet down. Now I mentioned that folks in eastern North Carolina have stayed dry and calm, but eventually these are going to be moving in there. We expect that these will weaken some as they move in,
No,
but
I'm all
still
right.
know that there are some strong storms that are going to be moving in your direction. But right now, let me remove the
Very
radar once again
funny.
so we can get remove the
Like
radar and so we can get a
Barbarino
good
line.
idea of
Looking
what we
like
have on our hands. Miles mentioned the two flash flood warnings that we have in the green there. That includes most of the lower peninsula, includes most of the south side of Hampton Roads. That's in effect until 8:30. A flash flood warning means flooding is happening.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
still lightning out there, but not bad.
until we get to around 8:30, so another 2.5 hours before the storms move out, and eventually all that water makes its way through the system and away, and things start to dry out. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning there for Suffolk, stretching over into Chesapeake and portions of Portsmouth. And we also have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Virginia Beach as well. As we take that full mile, we're going to talk about some of the times for how long all this is still in effect.
Yes, so those flash flood warnings go until about 8:30, so you still have some time on both of those. And notice some of the areas that are included in those green boxes. It's some
18 minutes and 45
low-lying
seconds.
areas. So you're including areas like Hampton
48
and
seconds,
Pocono,
49.
obviously very close to water there. Parts of Newport News right near the river included in that flash flood warning as well. So these are areas that we typically see trouble with flooding. Also on the south side, areas of Virginia Beach, up towards Shore Drive, towards the Haven Inlet, parts of Norfolk and Portsmouth that typically see flooding. These are the areas that are always our flooding trouble spots. Those are all areas included in these flash flood
I
warnings.
pray everybody be safe.
And then, of course, we have the severe thunderstorm warnings.
planet
In
Earth.
fact, those are a little more short term here, but we have one for Suffolk and then stretching over into Chesapeake and portions of Portsmouth as well. What we like to do often is to
The whole world gets saved before it's too late.
looking at the velocity, which tells
The
us,
storms will get stronger.
oftentimes the strength
You won't be
and
able to tell the
direction of winds.
seasons.
Thankfully with this, we're seeing
It's slowly
all the
becoming
winds
a
moving
cashless planet Earth.
basically in the same direction. direction.
One world government, wars and rumors of wars. Man can't hide anywhere. Mankind learns to fly like the birds. Knowledge will increase. Children get smarter way earlier than ever before. A three-year-old girl can solve a Rubik's Cube.
Strong winds there. Even being outside the heavy rain when I was coming into Chesapeake, the winds would pick up first. So you could hear or see the winds ramp up, and of course the heavy rain would follow. So kind of a 1-2 punch there with the flooding threat and of course the wind threat at this point as well.
Speaking of the winds, we have a wind gust, there we go, around 46 miles per hour on Cape Henry. That's in the Fort Story area. They're right at the tip of Fort Story. The Cape Henry lighthouses, if you've ever seen a pair of lighthouses there, that's Cape Henry. Right at the tip there, the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic, where those two come together. 46 mile per hour.
Children will disobey their parents and the law.
Certainly not the
One world government.
As we look over the
Virus and plagues, water polluted, and with water not drinkable, food not edible. Sun will be turned up extra hot. You can't tell the seasons. People will be lovers of themselves. People will go to and fro. Knowledge will increase. All things automatic.
But not when you're driving over a bridge. And I tell you what, when you've got those strong winds,
You can't tell the seasons.
don't look as high as they do when things are calm, right?
They look pretty scary when things are calm, but even in this weather. And speaking of driving, we want to kind of pull up this next speed up cam that we have. You can see those police lights right there. It's a little hard to see. It's a little fuzzy because of all the rain, and if you pay close attention, you can see the splashes coming off the vehicles. But that in the middle, right by the police vehicle with the flashing lights, there's a car stuck there sideways. So we're not exactly sure what they were trying to do. Maybe they might have hydroplaned, which is another risk for people out on the roads right now. It's 6 p.m. Some of us are still trying to get home.
Well, it has to be difficult to see on the roads, as Miles was explaining about his trip in here as well. But this is 264 at Military Highway. Again, you can see the police flashing lights right there in the middle of your screen, and it's hard to make out, but that car flipped sideways. It looks like there's someone standing right outside the car.
I was going to say, it does look